I built this homemade audio amplifier. It's actually pretty badass. I've got this wire here, which plugs into, I guess, your cell phone, MP3 player, laptop, whatever. Um, One lead goes to ground. The other lead comes into my preamp, which is a non-inverting op amp. I've got this potentiometer here, which lets me adjust the gain in the preamp. And then coming out of the preamp, I've got a lead here going to a 3-band equalizer system, which is nothing more than some very simple analog RLC circuits. I've got a low pass, which is our low frequency adjustment. I've got a band pass, which is the mid-range frequency adjustment. Then I've got the high pass, and that's, of course, high frequencies. And then one cool op amp configuration, which is the second op amp chip here, is the summing op amp. And that's going to allow me to take the output of each filter and sum them and basically get an overall resultant waveform from my equalizer settings. So that's what this op amp is doing. And then the output of that guy is going to a Texas Instruments, I think it's the LM1875. It's a 20-watt audio power amplifier. And that is connected to a 20-watt 4-ohm speaker. And I knew it was 4-ohm because that's what the output impedance of this power amplifier specifies. So I'm going to try and demonstrate for you guys and show you how cool this thing is. One other thing I forgot to mention is my power source is coming from a lab bench power supply, just a testing power supply. This in particular is a dual tracking power supply with isolated outputs, which means the negative terminal is not connected to ground, which is great. In my case, I have a floating circuit, so I wanted that isolated output. And because it's dual tracking isolated, I can connect the positive of one supply to the negative of another supply and create that as my reference ground in my floating isolated circuit. And then I have, what that does for me is creates a series connection of two power supplies with plus 12 and minus 12 volts. In this case, actually, I think I've got 11.3, but we'll assume it's 12 volts, plus and minus. And that's important for op amps so that we can generate signals like sine waves that go above and below the axis, right? So if our neutral is in the middle, we want positive voltages up here, and we want negative voltages down here. And that's what any audio signal is going to come like this. So we need both positive and negative voltages, which is why I've got it configured this way. So yeah, let me give it a shot, and we'll try and show you some of this.